Hello everybody, this is Fireball1765, and I'm going to be talking about a topic that's a little touchy. Suicide. Now, the only reason I'm doing this is because I was talking to people at school and then they all of a sudden started talking about Amanda Kay. She committed suicide. There were people saying that she should, and that's why she did it. Suicide is not light. Suicide, if you think about it, along with the murder laws, could be classified as any of the three. So you could be basically doing first, second, or third degree murder from committing suicide. But you may be like, how could somebody commit suicide? It's terrible. And I agree, it is terrible. But there are reasons people would commit suicide. They feel like their life is over already. So why not see what's on the other side? Whether it's good or bad, they want to have a new starting over point. They want to start over and start again. But I'm here to try to deter people from committing suicide. And I'm gonna do it by talking about my life. When I was born between the combination of rape and alcoholic. And well, that's just, first of all, terrible. Then I was sent to an orphanage, even though I was conceived, my birth mother said that she wasn't pregnant. Therefore, it's highly likely that she was drinking while I was still inside, thus causing a lot of problems. So I was sent to an orphanage, and then I was adopted to the USA at the age of 9.5 months. And then we'll skip ahead a few years, and go right to, say, first grade, even though I had kindergarten and preschool, where I was treated badly there. But first grade was okay. I found a friend after preschool and kindergarten provided none. And well, I played with him every day. And we had fun until somebody came along and took my friend away. And I still saw him, but it wasn't a growing apart. It's just that other guy was a bad influence. Really, the guy I was friends with had almost perfect grades, and it was funny, kind of like how I was. But once the other guy came along, those perfect grades went from being near 100%, maybe one or two wrong, and I was wondering how he did it, to he may have gotten one or two right and be lucky. That's how bad that other guy was of an influence. At least he eventually goes away, but I never saw what happened as a result. But we'll get back to that later. So when that happened, I was alone and just had no friends until 4th grade. That's where I made a friend. Now, I was kind of desperate at that point, to be honest. He stole from me, he lied to me, he did all these bad things. And yet he was still my friend because I guess I felt hope for him. But there wasn't any hope. I knew that inside. It may sound cheesy, but I did. I knew that he would just never be a good friend. But I still had him around because I was desperate for one. And in around 5th grade, people were starting to just try to get on my nerves to get me in trouble, and it worked. Getting on my nerves enough to make it so I would get detention or something like that. Then 6th grade, people would start saying stuff and just start stealing from me, and really it was probably more accurate to being a backyard alley slum than being an actual school. Now, I'm not going to say what the school is, but at some points I would be driven to the point of I would get out of school suspension because it would drive me that far. Then we go to 7th grade. I changed schools, and at that point, the bad influence on my original friend went away, but I went away too. But also, mid 7th grade, something happened, but we'll get back to that later. But, when I first started 7th grade, nobody talked to me, nobody wanted to even be near me. It's like I was the plague or something. And, well, I was all alone at that point. And then they started spreading lies about what I did, which got me out of school suspension from just them lying to me. And then even worse, I also got detention and stuff like that. Saying words that I would never say normally, because I do not curse or say anything like even closely related to that. And, well, they said I did and used it in really bad context. I never did that. You could ask anybody in my life. I never said words like those. I still don't really like saying them, but I only say them if I have to. And I have to make sure that I have permission from an adult that is there. Like, for it to be like a report or something. And even then I might just like suffer the low grade so I don't have to say it. But it's just, yeah, midway through I changed classes, so I had a different class. But also I lost my friend from 4th grade. He took so much from me, literally, and he's never given it back. And then, well, in 8th grade, it still wasn't that easy. I had a little bit more friends, but it was still kind of hard because, well, I still felt like I was an outcast. And many people would probably say I was. Until I finally stood up for myself and actually showed, really, I don't even know what I did, but I showed them something. I showed them something about myself that made it so they changed their minds. So, it's kind of like I found a light. And over here we have a board of lights. So I found one light. So I guess it was a little bit, well, you can also find me, like, it was a little bit better. But still wasn't really good because something was blocking my happiness. I still don't have the answer today. But I still find a little bit of light in that entire darkness, creating it so I have at least some happiness, and I can see much more clearly. But I still feel like I'm in the gray. Maybe not too much this way, maybe not too much this way, but in the middle. But the thing is, throughout all my life, I've been bullied physically, verbally, mentally, anyway, cyber. You can just name any kind of bullying and I've suffered it. And nobody stood up for me. Not even the so-called friends I have. Sometimes I would sit alone actually crying, to be honest. And I never really had anybody to truly look up to, and I still don't. People may say that, but you don't know my life. This is only the bare minimum of what I have to say. If I were to describe every part of my life, I would probably be in tears. But the main thing I want you to get from this is throughout all that terribleness of my life, I'm still alive. I powered through it knowing that there's a light at the end of every tunnel. Whether you're going in the right direction or the wrong one, you'll eventually find that light. Maybe you'll hit the dead end and go back, but you will find that light. There's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And, well, maybe I was going the wrong way and then I hit the dead end. And now things are becoming better. I sure hope they continue this way. I've gotten a lot of help in my life, but I'm still needing more. Because there is a person said, I'm not sure who, but they're considered to be wise, but it's true that one person cannot do anything. However, multiple people can do much more than what anybody could ever imagine. And everybody needs help, whether they want it or not. You will, and probably have already needed help. Don't deny that help. If people are willing to help, let them. Now, if you want everything to be perfect, then you're not going to be happy throughout your life. Just live life as if you want to live every day to its fullest. I know that sounds cheesy, but I'm serious. I'm still alive, and I'm going to stay living because I am going to look for the light in every day. And that's how I'm still alive. Just remember this. Before you take that knife, or before you take that gun, end your own life. I've thought about it many times. I've even cut my own throat slightly to the point of drawing blood. But I've never done it. As you can hear, I'm still here. And I'm still alive because I lived and powered through it. So, there's always going to be somebody who has a worse life than you. Remember that. What you take for granted, somebody might pay $1 million if they could have it. You may be like, oh, what if it was a flat screen TV? They would die, and they would probably give their life for it because they would actually want entertainment. Now, the thing is, that's sad because you actually have the ability to actually want and know about that object. While some people don't even know about TVs existing because they're that poor. You may be like, oh, I don't like my veggies. And it's like, okay, you don't like them, but still eat them. Because somebody out there would think, you know how when you don't eat for a while and then you finally eat, it tastes much better? To them, it would taste like heaven almost. Even if they were to taste the exact same thing you taste, it would taste like heaven. Because they wouldn't be eating for days, maybe weeks. Somehow surviving just by deteriorating their own body maybe. But they're alive. They don't give up, and